Voltron Network.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Eddie Santonio.
And it's Knowledgeable Mo.
Always bringing the knowledgeable back.
Knowledgeable is back. It's summer.
Yo, school, yeah. Well, I wouldn't quite say summer, but we're getting there.
It's
getting
like
hot.
I've got the light on up out here, but it's like you can probably see shadow and stuff here that you normally can't because it's still so bright in this room. The clocks went forward. I'll tell you what, I felt like crap yesterday after those clocks went forward.
Don't lie that. Up all night. Did not lie that.
Yeah.
Guys,
Horrible,
how have you
horrible.
been? Another week. A lot to talk about. Stuff that we didn't really get to talk about last week because we were just doing Justice League Snyder Cut. So, let's jump straight into it. Mo, what you been watching, sir?
Oh, what I've got a treat for you this week, Eddie. In fact, I should have grabbed this off my shelf so I could actually show it in the webcam. But I have watched the Lucky Stars collection that came out last week. That's 1983's Winners and Sinners, 1985's My Lucky Stars, and Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars.
Wow.
What wonderful, fantastic films they are. They're probably, I'd imagine if you've never seen these films before and you sit down and watch them, you'll be like, what a pile of shit are these films? Because,
remind me of the scenarios of each one. And one's got the whole group. I think they've all got groups, but
they've all got groups. And this is very typical of like 80s Hong Kong cinema. You come and do a sequel, and you can have the same group of actors. You can even have the same character names. Yet, like, the backstory is completely different. Like, it's like the first film just never happened.
I don't know why they do that. They just kind of just say, screw it, just do something else.
Yeah,
One of them actually lives in London, the tall one with the big mustache.
Yes, Richard Ng. He came and studied in London for a while. I was listening to the commentary last night. They go, he actually came to London to study to be a dentist, and started like dabbling in the arts, and then decided he wanted to be an actor.
Hey, just stay there. Like, I've seen him in West End. Like, what the fuck? It's weird.
And he speaks like, you listen to him like on the interviews in the disc, and he speaks like perfect English.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So what's the scenarios?
So
I can't remember.
They're all very similar scenarios, right? So Winners and Sinners is like these five guys meet up in prison, and they basically all somehow come out of prison on the exact same day, right? And they all basically try and go legit. So they start a cleaning company, and somehow they get involved in like a mafia triad gang type related like thing. They get stuck right in the middle of it, and essentially they end up with like a suitcase that's got like these templates to make like dodgy money. Yeah, but they don't realize they've got it, kind of thing. And then you've also got Jackie Chan in this film, who kind of like comes in and out. He's not like a really star. He's not part of the main group. He's just like in and out of it to like set some stuff up. But he does some great action. The second film is like it completely dumps everything from the first film, and basically Jackie Chan and Yuen Biao right at the beginning of the film. Yongbyo, that's it. Sorry. Right at the beginning of the movie, basically are after like these Japanese gangsters in Japan, and Biu gets caught, and then Jackie goes like, "Damn, these guys know my face. I can't go after them now. I know. I'll get my old orphanage buddies, right? So they're not even cops or anything. They're not specially trained. They're just my old orphanage gang. They'll help me out."
Your old childhood friends involved in a life or death situation.
Yeah.
With no special skills.
Yeah. No special skills. And then the middle of the film, like, it's got almost nothing to do with that. It's just them tomfooling around in Japan. And then you got like the last third of the film where all the action happens.
It's weird. I know I've seen these films, but I don't remember any of this shit.
Yeah. And by the time the third one rolls around, like the quality has just completely nosedived, right? And the plot doesn't even make sense if there is a plot. But what happens is like the plot gets worse, but the action like ramps up and up and up. Like by the third film, the action is just spectacular.
But what's that one about?
So that one is about, well, this is it. There is no fucking plot to the third one. The third one is literally, they go to a holiday camp. So they're having a good time off and stuff, right? And I literally cannot remember what the rest of the plot of that film is.
Oh man.
And I only just watched it like on Friday night. There is just no. Oh, that's it. They get caught up in like some other gangsters' endeavor, right? There's like Richard Norton and these little boys. They like kill someone, and Samo and like his lady friend, they witness it, and that's it. Like there's no other plot until the final fight happens. So unless you like seeing like just really not weird, but like Hong Kong 80s comedy, and a lot of the middle stuff is them just perving, being very un-PC like on on the female actresses.
Is that one with Samo the one where he's got the bowl cut and he fights with the tennis rackets?
Yes, that's the third one. Yes.
Oh, that doesn't that look painful when he smashes it around Norton's head? Oh my god.
He does that bowl cut. I don't know whether that was like the style, the fashion, or it just makes him look really young and naive and innocent.
Yeah. Oh, you maybe want to watch these again, man. I missed
them. They are for the action. They are good. I've seen some people just say the humor just isn't for me, or just said these are just downright shite. But I love them. I love these types of films. I love comedy. And just seeing the old school 80s, like unadulterated, just like none of this political correctness stuff, and just seeing it all beautifully restored. Like the picture is just mint. Yeah, it is just lovely. It's a lovely set.
The good old days when you could have offensive jokes.
So on top of that, I did also watch The Young Master, which I was going to talk about last week.
Is this all Kung Fu films this week?
Well, not all of them, but I've just been in that mood, man. I'm like, I want the knowledge. I want I'm looking at the Shaw Brothers stuff now that I have very little knowledge about. Yeah, getting into like the proper old schools. The Young Master, though, Jackie Chan's first film that he's like been he's directed some films before. This was the first time he was in full, like at the head, in charge, could do whatever. The making of this film itself has got like just such a great story as well. Like it's got involves the triads, involves his old production company Laoway, who basically try to cheat him out of his contract. Like basically they try to change the terms and conditions of how he could get out of his contract. When he finally got the film made, he hated the editor's first edit. He was then in the US like filming Battle Creek Brawl. So he had everything shipped to him, and he did an edit, and it was like a 3-hour edit.
Jesus, Zack Snyder of Hong Kong, man. This is bad.
It was just like, so that, they obviously snipped the studio was like, there's no way. So they snipped that down to like 190. But like the actual film itself is pretty cool as well.
That's a lot to cut out though. Like,
it's half the film. Yeah, it's loads. I mean, the final fight, right, goes on for like 18 minutes. I mean, it is almost on that side of like I'm almost losing interest. But
no, I loved it when those fights go for long. I just love that.
But it's a really good film, and you can kind of see some of the more modern aspects of like Jackie Chan's filmmaking is starting to emerge. And he also says stuff like, our kung fu films were always either the dumb student or a revenge tale. He goes, I wanted to make one about like brotherhood, because it's him and his brother who essentially get screwed over. But if you've never seen it, it doesn't compare to the likes of like Police Story and all those kind of stuff, but it's fun seeing a lot of these old films. I also checked it out last night. Do you remember Bulletproof Monk?
Oh, that was
with
not
Chow
good.
Yun-fat.
Yeah, that was not good.
It is just this side of watchable.
No,
it is
barely.
It's you can see on Chow Yun-fat.
Yeah.
You can see on his face that he's thinking to himself, I've hit an all-time low here, haven't I, in my career? I'm starring in a movie with Stifler, who is like the chosen one.
Because he was fresh off of American Pie, and Chow Yun-fat was fresh off of doing The Killer and Hardboiled and all those films that were blowing up, the John Woo flicks. Which is weird though, because he was never really a martial artist, even though he did do good in Snake and Eagles. No, what was it? Hidden Tiger? No, Dragon.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Even though he did good physically in that, he's not really a martial artist or classically trained in that way. So it's weird that he kind of got roped into doing these American martial art films. We had to believe that he was. This
I'm
master.
guessing these guys were just looking for another martial artist, right? There was a lot of wire work in this film as well, and I was quite surprised to see John Woo was also actually a producer on this film.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But Jamie King, the main chick, ooh,
Yep.
definitely go and look up pictures of her and stuff. And then Saturday night, I
What
watched.
you rate it?
What a Bulletproof Monk.
Yeah.
2.5. I would watch it again though. I would
Really?
watch it again. Yeah, it's you know what? My tolerance for bad martial arts films is a lot higher than like just a bad film.
I agree with you in that respect. Yeah. But this isn't even really. No, because it's the Hollywood martial art films. Just no.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It is. It's like it's like sometimes you just want to watch a bad crap film. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
I watched a film on Saturday night called Senior Moment, which is William Shatner at 90 years old. His new film.
Wow.
And the guy does not look a day older than 70. Even in the film, he says he's like 72 years old. But here's the funny thing: did you ever watch 30 Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember Cerie, the office intern, the blonde young hot chick?
Yeah.
She wasn't really part of the main cast.
Yeah.
So she's like in this. I actually looked her up. I'm quite surprised about how many films and shows she's actually been in. So she's in this, and she's about 30 odd years old in real life, right? So there are scenes with her and Shatner like canoodling together, and you're kind of thinking, wow, that's just like he's 90, she's like 30 odd, right? But then here's the kicker: when his actual love interest comes into the film, she's about in her 70s, and you're thinking there is still a 20-year age gap between her and Shatner.
I didn't think they could still get away with that shit, man. I thought everyone was frowning upon that, because even what was that one with Washington and Zendaya?
The one with Zendaya. Yeah,
everyone's bitching about that, and they're like 10 years difference or something.
Yeah, but he gets away with it, A, because he's a Shatner, and B, this film is full of like things where people think are wrong today because he's an old man and that's how he grew up.
Yeah.
That he's got his fast car that he drives. There's like this Latino guy that pulls up on the lights, and they're having banter, and he says this really racist thing about he goes, "What do you call a Latino in like a really expensive car?" I can't remember the exact wording, and he goes, "Grand Theft Auto," stuff like that. It's full of things like that.
Oh God. I'd love to see what the Twitter response on that is.
But I'll tell you one thing: the actual the thing is, later on in the film, they become friends. He basically realizes he's a bit of a grumpy old shit or whatever.
Is it actual comedy, or is it dramedy or serious?
No, it's a kind of a comedy with like a serious tone of like his whole life is his car. Like he loves his car, right? Because it's like beautiful sports car. But then he meets this woman and he falls madly in love with her, and he kind of realizes that's not all that's in life.
Should he retire? Is it time for him to just be like,
no, he's 90,
down.
Mate. Hold on. He's 90. He looks like he's 70. He's got like a book in the works. He's got like a play on the go.
Yeah, he can just concentrate on that. Does he need to be on screen? Like, is he
why
good?
Not? He's William Shatner.
That ain't good enough. Don't give me that. Just because he was good 50 years ago.
I watched that film because he's William Shatner. Like, I've got a picture of him like on my wall up here.
Yeah.
There are people that will watch films just because he's in it, like me. I will say one thing: whoever directed this film basically made the film look like a tourist advert for like California. It just was beautiful. You just think, I want that Californian lifestyle where the roads are empty and wide. I'm gonna have my top down.
It's gone. You're 50 years too late.
House.
30 years too late. It's all traffic and homeless people now. Oh well.
Well, no. So I don't think it's like the main part of like Los Angeles or something. I think we are talking a little bit out and stuff. So probably not one to recommend to you, but I will give it a 3. I had a kind of a good time with it. It's not the best story in the world. It's not even the best rom-com in the world. It's just, if you're a fan of William Shatner, it's one to enjoy. It's called Senior Moment. That is pretty much all the stuff I've been watching.
One other thing before we get into our main things that we watched, we're going to be reviewing Happily, movie that we would have done last week but didn't have time for. We're going to be doing, obviously, Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Winter Soldier.
and the new show
MCU.
on Amazon Prime called Invincible, another comic book adaptation, animated this time. But before we get into that, there's a new show on Netflix called Irregulars.
Ah, yes, the Sherlock Holmes thing.
Yeah, it's kind of Sherlock Holmes, but not really. It's basically Sherlock Holmes adjacent. It's a group of young teens that are kind of living homeless in a group together, just getting by with one of them that's kind of crazy and they don't really know why. And they get recruited by Watson. So their job is to like investigate things that Sherlock and Watson can't really get access to, the really underbelly of Victorian London.
Yeah.
So it's basically just them going around, but there's a whole supernatural twist to it. But it ain't good. I don't think it's that great. Like, it's trending number one, so I guess people kind of like it, but it seemed cheap and it was a bit.
Is it trending number one because people are just checking it out and it will suddenly disappear?
Could be.
Does it look like it's a show that would appeal to other people, just not to us?
Oh, obviously, because there's the other one, the other period one everyone loves.
Bridgerton.
Yeah, everyone loves that. Everyone, without that.
We'll talk about it in a minute. But have you seen the trailer for the new trailer for the Nevers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that because one of the very first comments that I saw about that, they said, "Oh, this looks." Somebody literally goes, "This looks like it's HBO's Irregulars."
Yeah, it does. It looks like a better version of Irregulars, better effects, and just better all round written. Like this is I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I wasn't going to watch it, but you've now confirmed. Unless it's the last thing left on Netflix, don't watch it.
Nah, no thanks.
How many episodes did you get through?
Just one. I figured, let me just give this a go. And I've decided I'm not sticking with bullshit anymore. You guys always dump films. Like, you watch, forever saying that you watch half of it and then you just turn it off halfway. And I'll never do that. Yeah. But now I'm going to start doing that. I almost did it with Happily, which we're going to review now. Almost did it with Happily, but I didn't. I stuck with it. Let's get straight into it.
Okay.
Break down that cast, bro.
What? Okay, why don't you tell? Okay, do you want me to read down the? I didn't actually bring up the. Hold on, give me 1 second. It's a great cast as well.
It is. So I'm guessing you really, really enjoyed it. Then it's a fucking weird film, man. And I don't mind weird, but this is just weird.
So Kerry Bishop, Bish. I don't know how you pronounce her surname. Absolutely gorgeous.
I really like her. She's from Hawk Catch Fire, isn't it?
Yes, she is. Joel McHale, and then Al Madragal. Never heard of him before. Natalie Zia, who played Karen. Paul Shearer, who just seems to play the same character in every single thing he's in.
Douchebag,
right, the exact same character.
I think he's a nice guy. I listened to one of his podcasts. He's actually a really cool guy.
I'm sure he is. But he plays that douchebag who is like borderline could be gay as well, right?
every role.
Stephen Groot as the weird good man type guy who's like spying on them, and we should also give a shout out to Natalie Morales, who I've seen in quite a few things, but I can't actually quite remember what I've seen her in. But the cast in this I thought were great.
Yeah, it's a good cast. You wanna get to the synopsis?
Get synopsis, right?
Impossibly happy couple.
A dark romantic comedy. Tom and Janet have been happily married for years, but a visit from a mysterious stranger leads to a dead body, a lot of questions, and a tense couple's trip with friends who may not actually be friends at all. So, at what point were you thinking of turning this film off?
At every moment. It was just like, this is just going, I just don't like this. It was just annoying me just watching it. Are we getting spoilers or are we just going like...
It's been out for about 2 weeks now, and I think it's difficult to talk about this film without spoilers, really, isn't it?
Alright, we'll get into spoilers then. You have been warned, people.
I don't know what you think of the film, but like, I think IMDb might agree with you because it's currently a 5.3. People just don't like the darkness of it.
It's not the darkness, it's just that the annoyance of... Nothing was everything doesn't always have to be explained. Sometimes ambiguity is good, but you know why everyone hates them just because they're so happy and that they have to have sex every fucking 2 hours. Every other couple just hates them. Like, you're not normal. It's like this weird alternative world that they're in, and then this guy just turns up saying that you're breaking the system. It's not supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
Take these injections, and you'll be, just like everybody else. Just miserable and like, what's going on? What is this world? What is this universe that we're in? Explain it.
Did you not find that intriguing? You're like, oh, I like this. God,
Yeah,
blimey.
for them to tell me what the fuck this world is, but they never do.
And I'm okay with that, actually. Normally I need things explained, but I was actually quite... Because something like this, there's no real explanation that they could give.
Yeah, you're in hell, you're in purgatory, like you're somewhere else, like something. And some of the weird acting choices they were doing, some of those shots, it was just really hammy, and I don't know, it was just odd in a weird way.
I don't know, man. I really enjoyed this film. I liked the way that the main couple was interacting with everybody, like not knowing whether they'd been set up, whether the others knew, and then obviously things get freaky when she starts seeing the guy in the supermarket.
Even when she killed him, there was no real reason for her to do that. Like, sure, it was a weird request that this guy was having, but her to just get up 5 minutes into the conversation and just smack him around the head with a cube. What the fuck is going on? And his reaction to it just slowly turned back. That's what I mean. The reactions were just weird. Everything was odd.
Wouldn't that be your reaction though?
I'd be like, what the fuck have you done? But he was just slowly turning like, I forgive you. I understand. Like, what the fuck is this weird shit?
Yeah, see, that's what you call a loving couple. They got each other's backs.
But then obviously it was shown to be bullshit, because when he thought he was injected with this serum that would make him normal, he suddenly started acting to a degree like a normal person. But it was all psychological.
But we were never told. Oh, she just pricked him, didn't she? She actually injected him with anything.
And he ended up cheating. So
but psychologically he thought, well, I'm going to change now. So what's the point of fighting this?
And everybody went back to their lives and all happy again at the end, like nothing happened.
The little circle that they sit around at the end and they talk like all their stuff through. That was brilliant.
Yeah, everything led up just to that.
All the stuff that was coming up, like how the fact that what's his name, Karen, had slept with him. She slept with the other chick. Then she calls her husband we all know you're a closet gay.
Yeah,
the other friend who says your friend is a piece of shit. He abuses me.
And when she shoots him at the end, their reaction in the car was like, "Did you just shoot?" Yeah, and she's like, "Yeah." She goes, okay, well, okay. Hey, did we ever introduce you to our other friend? What the fuck is this world? It's just fucking crazy.
I'll tell you anyway, I love this film. I thought it was fantastic. The pacing is great. It doesn't outstay its welcome. The humor is quirky.
Maybe because I'm still in my music head, I want to just listen to music. Yeah. That was kind of pulling me away. Maybe that I just wanted to turn this off and just get down to something. So maybe that was part of my issue with this. Is that I was like, oh come on, man, I just want to listen to some music. But I stuck with it, and I didn't completely hate it, but it was just odd. It wasn't like the Nicolas Cage film that was torture to watch. That was different.
Oh. Yeah, I did wonder if you weren't going to like it. I'll be honest, because obviously the things that I've seen people saying about it, but I think this is a 4-star film from me.
But that's bizarre because everyone hated Cherry, but I love that film.
I think the thing with Cherry was, I loved it as well. I think there are some people just don't like seeing dark and depressing stuff. It's like that. You really need to go and see that it's the devil all the time, because that is about as dark and depressing as a film can get. But it is just fantastic to watch.
Yeah. So what'd you give it?
I think I'd give it a 4.
Ooh.
It's a very quirky, very different type of film.
It is. It's definitely that. I'll give it 3.5. Can't ever see myself revisiting it, but you never know.
Oh yeah, I will definitely revisit this.
You never will, man. You never watch it.
I will, absolutely will.
You never will.
If this comes to 4K, I'll buy it on 4K as well.
And
because I reckon all the colours and all that stuff will just look great.
Yeah, it didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
And that house was gorgeous.
Oh, that house was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. With the gun room.
Yeah, I want that. Give me that. All right, so on to the next. Invincible, Amazon Prime. an Image Comics adaptation of their equivalent to Spider-Man, very popular comic. And what's going on, Mo? What's the release of this? There's 3 episodes on there. Is that it? Because I wasn't seeing them saying weekly. They didn't say that on the.
No, so Robert Kirkman, who is the creator of this show, was on Fat Man with. No, sorry, they've changed the name of that show now, haven't they? Beyond Fat Man with Kevin Smith.
Why?
Well, apparently, I think they changed it before they got asked to change it by Warner Brothers.
Why? Batman on Batman. Why? Is that an issue that Warner Brothers has to bitch about?
Well, no, the Warner Brothers didn't. He's decided to change it before like they did, because obviously he does a lot of work in the industry, right? And he doesn't want that to like. So basically, they said he thinks that at Amazon have now basically got this this deployment schedule that they're going to be using for shows, right? So they basically give you the first 3 episodes so you can binge those. So you get to binge something, and then after that, they dish it out to you on a weekly basis. So there's, you know how they did with The Boys. The cast on this thing is like out of this world, right? Because you listen to the voices and you're like, I recognize that. So you've got like Stephen Ewan, who's like going to possibly be like an Academy Award winner. J.K. Simmons, you can blatantly tell that it's him. You've got Zazie Beetz, Gillian Jacobs from Community, Jason, and I don't know how the hell you say this guy's surname, Mantzoukas. Yes, you hear his voice and you know that's Rafi. Good from all the mad shows that he's been in. It is just, and you also got Zachary Quinto, who's the robot.
Do you ever really need this crazy cast for an animated show like this? Like, they're good actors, but they're gonna be expensive, and you don't really need them because you can't see them. Their money is their face.
Amazon money.
I know, but it's just pissing money away. That could. It
I
is.
don't know about that.
That could be more money in your pocket rather than spending it for whatever extra meal shared between all of them.
I don't. What you're basically saying you're putting down the art of voice acting.
No, I mean voice actors should be doing the job, and they're cheaper than screen actors.
You do realize, like, most actors go and do voice work as well, right? Because it's a cheap gig for them. It's an easy gig.
Now they're doing more of it. Yeah, now they're doing more of it because of lockdown. But that means that the dedicated voice actors are getting screwed.
No, but even before, like, you'd speak to folks and they'd go, yeah, I go in and I read all my lines in a day and I'm done.
Yeah, but they're more expensive. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like, but if it's Amazon money, it's like, do you know what I mean? They have so much money, they don't know what to do with it.
As if
they pay their workers, but
if they commit to this, that could be the thing that kind of makes this succeed to a season 2 or 3, or them canceling it. That extra meal that they could save.
Just swap them out with a Sander-like.
Yeah, jeez. But I did enjoy this. I remember years ago started reading the comic, but I never got to the turn. So I only got a couple of episodes in. I knew something was going on with the dad. And they haven't explained it yet. And I purposely kept away as to why it's happening. But yeah, the dad switches. Do you know? Did you look it up?
No, I don't know.
Oh, good.
Didn't look it up. It's as I was watching it, I think like the first thing I didn't realize they were 45-minute episodes, right? I thought they were just going to be a standard like 30 minutes. So it is like, so if anybody has been putting off watching this, thinking it's an animated show, don't, because this is more The Boys than it is a Marvel.
Oh yeah, way closer to The Boys, but animated.
Absolutely.
It's the story
in fact, I was going to say, I don't know how they get away with some of the stuff that they depict here, right? Because you've literally blatantly got somebody who looks exactly like the Flash.
Yeah, it is the same color.
All red. Yeah.
Was it Red Rush?
Got Red Rush. You got like you've obviously got like your Batman, who's like, what's it, Darkwing or whatever.
So,
blatantly Batman.
You
got your Wonder Woman. Yeah.
What, the Guardians of the Globe they called them.
Something like that.
Have you got the synopsis just to explain it for anyone who hasn't seen this?
An adult animated series based on the Skybound Image comic about a teenager whose father is the most powerful hero on the planet.
Basically Superman.
So essentially, this is like if Superman had a child. and that child had superpowers. And then there were loads of other people in the world who also had superpowers. And that's actually something I don't understand, because he has an actual proper story, and it's not even like an Earthbound story. So it's like, where have all these other heroes come from?
But I think they're just Earth normal. They're just mutants. They're whatever the image equivalent to mutants are.
So they've been bitten by spiders, fallen in lava,
basically.
Gamma rays, struck by lightning.
But what's interesting is that the young hero, the main protagonist, his powers finally kick in, the son of the Superman figure. So yeah, he basically has a similar power set to his dad. But as soon as that happens, his dad, something switches on his dad. Like, I don't know whether it's some sort of unwritten rule that there can only be one hero of whatever the race is, and that if there's two, then the other one has to. Like, it doesn't. I want to know, but I don't want to look it up.
Yeah. Don't worry.
He switches and just kills the whole Guardians of the Globe. It's like, what the fuck? Why? That was brutal as well. That.
Yeah, the way like the fucking heads come off and stabbed and all sorts, man.
It was crazy.
Yeah, this is it's a parents. If you're listening, this ain't a kid show. Don't let your be very careful if you let your kid.
Don't see your 3 or 4 year old in front of the TV and let it play.
There's no sex in it. It's all violence, so it's fine.
Yeah, most people don't care about violence. Thumbs up so far. They did a good job.
Really enjoyed it. In fact, I was watching episode 2 like late last night in bed, because I was thinking, damn, I haven't like finished all 3 yet, so I need to get them done. I did the third one at lunchtime today. But it was like I think it finished at like almost like 2:45, and I was like, do I do the next one? Or shall I go to sleep?
I hate that feeling. It was funny that weird race of aliens that were just having the invasion like every other day. They were just popping through. It. And for them, it was decades each time they came through. Stepping up their technology, everything.
So the second time they come through, they got the bracelets. The third time they come through, the guy has got himself like this massive like suit of armor or something. And then you watch him like the dad come down, fights them all to the death. Goes through the portal, and I like the way that they do show that his beard grew and everything. Like, time has actually passed for him.
It's fucking crazy. I'm gonna look forward to this every week. Is it Friday as well?
I believe so. Yes, it'll be dropping on Fridays. So Fridays, you got the double bill.
Everything's Fridays.
Yeah,
I ain't mad.
Well, the thing we didn't check out that we should probably try and check out for next week is, I was going to text you, but there was just so much stuff to watch. Is this past Friday on Disney Plus, they've also had the premiere of the Mighty Ducks show.
I did. We should at least
watch one episode.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we'll get that one a go. At least the first one.
It'd be interesting to see if they manage to update the formula to bring it like into the 21st century.
Yeah. We'll do that for next week. So, what do you rate these first 3 episodes if you're going to do it?
I'd give this a 4-star rating as well, actually. It's incredibly enjoyable. It's actually going to give you that boys fix that you've probably been craving. Like, if that's a show that you really liked and you want to see something similar, watch this.
I'm worried about the boys spin-off, I just don't know if it can maintain the edginess and the fact that it kind of pulls against what's socially right. I'm just worried that it's going to be forced to become a little woke or too woke in its own way, for its own good, with its little tweeny cast. I'm looking at people that they're casting for it, and I'm like, I just don't know. It's kind of looking CW-ish. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, but I think you're using the word woke in its general capacity rather than what it actually kind of means. Because if you look at actually deeply at the boys, it is quite woke itself. Woke doesn't actually mean you've got to be
politically correct.
It's something else. It's very un-PC, that show, but if you look at it, it is now talking about the war and racism in America and all that, and that's the woke aspect, right?
Anyway, let's move on. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2. So Mo, you hated this last week. You said this show is the shittest TV show you've ever seen. You hope it gets cancelled.
I don't think I quite phrased it that way.
Pretty sure. I paraphrased, I'm pretty sure. So what do you think of this one?
It was an improvement. I did think although they were able to quite justify it, I did think the bickering between the two was just too much. It wasn't even like comical or funny. But by the end, the Winter Soldier did have a good reason for doing or acting the way he was. It was very much if Steve is wrong about you, then it's wrong about me type thing.
Yeah,
and that helped to make sense.
You have to always remember Winter Soldier that he's dealing with trauma. Like he has this decades from the 50 years worth of trauma that he's kind of left fucked up with that he's trying to work through. I was blown away that they had Isaiah in this, the other Captain America. He is in the comics, and I never expected to ever see him in live action.
And have you seen the response from certain places? Now, this is a thing that's basically triggering people and calling this show woke and stuff now, because it's actually going into that territory as well.
Well, this is the story. This is what it was in the books. He's like an offshoot of the Super Soldier program. After they made Cap, they were experimenting to rediscover, because they lost the ability to do that, the serum, after the scientist died.
Yep.
And they experimented on 300 black guys, black soldiers, GIs. All of them died except one. And yeah, he was their kind of unofficial underground Cap, but they didn't want him to be the face of, America, especially after Cap died. And he was just locked away, experimented on and tortured. And I think the book's called Truth, Red, White, and Black. If you can find it cheap, it's worth picking up, because apparently the prices are starting to go up now with this character suddenly appearing.
Well, I was about to say it's quite a recent book, but when I say recent, it's a relative term, right? Because comics have been around for a very, very long time. It's like early 2000s or something.
I think just on the cusp of 2000s, late 90s, something like that. Yeah. So but not a great comic. I think the art ain't great, but anyway, never expected. It could be. I'm curious if this leads to anything, whether he appears again, or if there's some down the road they're kind of fishing for an idea of maybe doing a little mini series on it. I don't know. But
so essentially Bucky just like strong arms his way into like this episode, right? Basically just tags along with the Falcon. Bucky just jumps out of a plane. So that kind of gives you an idea of how tough a super soldier is, right? You can literally fucking jump out of a plane, land on your back, and not break any bones.
Yeah, but the thing is, then when they had that fight sequence on the trucks, it was a cool sequence. He was kind of getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, but he was fighting other soldiers as strong as him.
Yeah, but the new US agent, the other captain in the comics is called US agent, but the other Captain America, he's not a super soldier. He's just a guy in a suit. Yeah, he seemed to be holding himself.
Yeah, but he then did get also kicked off and get his ass whipped.
Did too. I can't stand him, man. It's his face. Some people, there's just that face that you just want to kick.
He does have a weird looking face, doesn't he? Actually, it's saying no. He doesn't have a weird.
Yes, he does. Face. Yes, he does. Own it, Mo. Don't take it back. He does have a weird looking face. You're right.
No. I would never say that.
Disgusting human being. He's a disgusting
No. He looks more like he would be at home in like a CW young person's drama type show. He's got that like that jawline of what's his name? The
guy from The Boys.
Not The Boys. What was that show that they used to have?
He really does though. He looks like Homelander. No, he does.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah?
He kind of reminds me of Homelander as well. He kind of has that look.
It's not the Captain America look, and maybe that's the whole point of this, right? It's at the end things might be very different, especially when he's got the mask on. That bit that's sticking out just looks really weird. It doesn't have that strong jaw to it, and so it actually comes to show you when they're designing these costumes how wrong things can go if it's not molded around the person it's made for.
It could be intentional though, because it is an original mask, it's an original costume. So maybe they know that he's just that disgusting, unlikable human being visually, and that's why. Because apparently he said he auditioned for Captain America back in the day. Yeah, so it's crazy that he ended up getting this role later on.
But like the character he plays is just such a nice guy. Like he's on the back of that like truck, and they're all just ignoring him, and they're walking along, and he's like saying, "Come on, the airport's like 20 miles."
You're a nice guy. Well, I don't know.
Then he gets Bucky out of prison.
Yeah, for his own, but he wants to use him though. He wants them to be, his little sidekicks. Yeah.
What did you think of? So just after they saw Isaiah, the cops turn up, right? Yeah. And obviously, it's a very topical thing at the moment. How did you feel watching that?
Well, before getting to that, this added onto the Isaiah thing. It's just sad that even after all that time, all those 30 years of being, locked up, and he's just out and he's just forced to just live in the hood. That sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Sucks after everything he's done and been through. Just one shit after another, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the police turn up and the profiling until they recognize who he was, of Falcon. Yeah. But that they have to reflect real life to a degree. As long as it's, it's a balancing act. You don't want to go too far into it, but you kind of don't want to ignore it either, because it has to be grounded to some degree.
One thing we forgot to mention about episode 1, and I had to actually watch this bit twice because I thought, did he really say that? It's the first bit of swearing we've had in the MCU. Did you catch that last week? Or rather, in the non-Netflix MCU?
I heard them swear this episode. I probably missed it last week.
Oh, did you hear? I didn't hear it this week. So last week, the Falcon, when he's talking to his sister, he goes, "We'll fix up this ship. It'll be all nice and shit." And I was like, did he actually say that? To rewind it back and turn the subs on, and it was that. And I was like, wow, that's a very you would have never have heard that in the films.
They do swear in the films.
Do they?
Yeah, they've said shit before in the films. Iron Man said shit before. PG can have shit. I think they can only say shit once.
Yeah, well, whether you can have it or not is different, because it's an MCU,
but they do
it's a Disney type thing.
It.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to keep an eye out.
They have done it. I have done it.
Yeah. Okay. I stand corrected.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. It's interesting. I still want to know how Zemo factors into this. We got a glimpse of him at the end. So they're still holding back their cards, the cards. They don't really know the full scale of what the main threat is. I think these little mini super soldiers are just little sides, the beginning, the entree to the big bad.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half into this movie now, and they really need to start showing their cards a little bit more. So hopefully we'll get that in episode 3.
It's only 6 episodes, isn't it? So yeah, we'll get it.
Is it only 6? Is it 6 or 8?
I'm pretty sure it's 6. You can double check, but I'm pretty sure I saw that it was 6. Yeah. All right. So let's get into the news, Mo.
Let's get to the news. Right. So hold on. I'm going to go to my other document now. Right. Come on. Right. So we'll run through some of this because there's a lot here. Right. So Ace Ventura 3 apparently is in the work with Amazon. By the same writers that have just done the Sonic movie.
So they got on with Carrie so good on the set that they decided, let's just do this.
Well, this is it, right? Apparently, Jim Carrey hasn't actually been confirmed yet, but you can't do Ace Ventura without him. And again, it's Amazon money, right? So
yeah, we thought that about Dumber and Dumber, but they found a way to make one without him,
and it was terrible. And then they did rope him in for a sequel,
which was also terrible. So sometimes you should just leave these things alone.
Leave these things alone sometimes, but hey.
Yeah, and coming to America, that's had a mixed response. So maybe they shouldn't have even bothered with that one. It's sometimes you just let these things die. Yeah, sometimes it was fine. I said it was fine, but it wasn't. Sometimes these things should just be left, man. Especially if it's
but like fine is okay for Amazon or Netflix, right? Fine is not good for the cinema. Like you don't want to go to the cinema and watch a fine movie.
No.
But if it's on Amazon, if it's on Netflix, on Disney Plus, it's okay.
Amazon seems to be calling the market with these sort of long delayed sequels. They're just finding any way to get a buzz, because HBO Max apparently is doing damage stateside. Like they're taking, because they're getting the buzz, especially with like Wonder Woman and Justice League. They are doing big damage in terms of getting new subscribers in and just the social buzz. Yeah, compared to Netflix.
They've got good content. They've also announced really interesting projects, right? They've got the film thing, although apparently for 2022 they're stopping that, right?
Yeah.
It's going back to normal. It's I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be up there, right? At some point. What they need now is that global expansion. That's what's holding them back. Like that Disney have hoovered up like 80 million customers. You can't do that by not expanding.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But if they can replicate it, which you think now is the time to do that with all this slate of these films that they've got. But I guess those pre-existing deals with Sky and that.
Yep. Apparently UK is not even on the cards, right, until 2025 for them because of all the deals that they've signed.
I guess they get money from it. I guess it goes in their pockets, helps them finance more shit.
Yeah, but it doesn't help people like I would much rather take out a HBO Max subscription than a Sky subscription.
Yeah, same. Man.
Yeah. Right. So, Jupiter's Legacy. They've started obviously the pre-buzz for this, right? So Mark Miller himself has been talking about this, and he describes this as it's part 2001, part The Avengers, and part Godfather 3. And he basically goes on to say it's a 50-year self-contained story inside one franchise. It's got a cast of 50 or 60 superheroes, and the story starts in like 1929 and runs until the end of time. It runs through all time and space and explains the mysteries of human existence, all tied into a superhero story.
He's being overly optimistic that he's going to get to that. This is going to last that long, because like we've seen it, they will cancel this year after like 3 seasons.
The difference here is Netflix owns Millerworld, right? So to them, there's no licensing involved.
They own Glow, and that didn't stop that from getting cancelled. There are plenty of shows that they cancelled.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think I don't think that like they don't own the company that made Glow. I'm sure with Glow there was a licensing deal somewhere. Somebody was getting paid for like the use of all that stuff.
I just don't trust Netflix, man. And and even after watching the regulars, I'm just not trusting that the quality level of this is just going to be up to it.
No, but I think the regulars, irregulars, or whatever it is like is based at a different demographic. You'll probably find that you don't like it. I don't like it, but like the irregulars will probably be a huge fucking hit.
It probably will, but just in general, I don't know. I'm just not completely convinced that they give their.
They don't make niche things just for us. They've got to make things for the masses.
I don't know, man. I'll watch it, obviously, definitely.
Yeah, so they're also getting into like the sitcom game. Like they seem to be having a new sitcom every month now. I just saw an advert for Jamie Foxx. Yeah, Jamie Foxx is like back in a new sitcom on Netflix.
They're just throwing shit at the wall, man. Seeing what sticks. That's just Netflix. It's a model right now.
Yeah, but then you got to think you've had all these years of like these other networks just playing safe, right? Just giving you the same procedural thing over and over again, like 10 different NCSIs and 10 different like whatever other like courtroom dramas, medical dramas.
Yeah, they kind of Netflix is missing that. Well, I say that, but then they had that.
They've got everything.
Yeah, they had that period thing that everyone loves. So I guess they can't do it right.
Staying with Netflix, Keanu is coming. Did you know Keanu made his own comic book?
Yeah, I did. Berserker.
Berserker. I was going to say, I think it's pronounced Berserker, right?
Yeah.
So they are basically adapting not only a live action version of Berserker, but they are also they're also turning it into a cartoon series as well.
Yeah, he's milking the fuck out of this, and it literally only just came out like a month ago or 2 months.
I think it seems to be Amazon standard as well, because there are other shows that they are doing that have a live action film and a TV series. Oh, sorry, a cartoon series. So you got that with the zombie thing that Snyder's doing, and there's another show. I can't remember which one, but they're doing the same thing. But essentially the story around this is the story is about an immortal warrior who's about 80,000 years old. Basically, the man known only as B is half immortal, half god, cursed and compelled to violence, even at the sacrifice of his sanity. But after wandering the earth for centuries, B may have finally found refuge, working for the US government to fight the battles too violent and too dangerous for anyone else. In exchange, B will be granted one thing that he desires: the truth about his endless blood-soaked existence and how to end it.
Sounds a little similar to something else Netflix has, doesn't it?
The Old Guard.
Yeah, exactly. Just he could be a character in that just kind of has his own little story thread. Exactly the same.
Written by Keanu Reeves, starring Keanu Reeves. Everyone likes Keanu Reeves.
Apparently the book's not great though.
It sold about 615,000 copies.
Yeah, because it's Keanu Reeves.
But
apparently it's not good.
I don't know, man. The actual, I mean, they've got, I guess, a chance to tart it up here, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And change it around and adapt it well. Get some Hollywood writers in.
I wonder who he's going to get to direct it. I wonder if he still kind of want to drag in his little John Wick guys. Then I'll definitely fucking watch it, but you never really know. And he's getting on a
Yeah.
bit, man. What he's got to be a what? What is he like? Nearly 60 now?
Who, Keanu Reeves?
Yeah. He's got to be
No
like
idea.
55, 56.
Probably in his 50s. I wouldn't say he's.
But he's got to be pushing, knocking on the door of 60.
But he looks as though he's still in such
He
damn
looks
good
it,
shape.
but does he get up and groan and like scream every time he has to get up out of a chair? He could look great, but inside he could just be rotting and decaying.
No, I'd imagine he's probably very healthy on the inside. He's 56.
Yeah.
164.
Getting there. Yeah, it's at that age that when you break a bone, it takes a long time to heal. It never heals the same.
Right, Sony developing a new Bewitched movie. I've got to wonder
Again.
No, I've got to wonder if the response to Wonder Vision basically said, you know what, we've got like this whole sitcom that we could turn into a movie.
Innit? We have that when they're watching those sitcom episodes at the beginning. It's like we have rats to that.
Like this. People are very nostalgic about these things. Maybe we should develop a movie.
And it's like, who's doing this? Is it just Sony on their own?
I don't think anything has actually been announced yet. It's literally like they're developing story. I hope they stay closer to the source material this time.
But didn't they do that last time?
No,
the Will Ferrell.
Yeah, do you not remember what the story was?
Nicole Kidman.
So in the Will Ferrell one, they played actors playing the characters.
Oh.
But like the Nicole Kidman character was an actual real witch.
Okay, it's interesting.
So it's kind of like, why would you stray so far away from like the concept of the original sitcom?
Yeah, we have to have some setup for it. Like, I'm hoping they'll take the Sabrina twist to it, make it a little darker and a little more interesting.
I mean, you could do that, right? But like but the Will Ferrell one literally took the whole concept away of like a mortal being married to like a witch.
Thing is, I don't think this can work as a film because just that scenario isn't enough. You just dropped into a married couple.
No,
and one's a witch.
It's going to be a rom-com of like how they meet, right?
Yeah, but you want to see, but the comedy in it, what made it fun is that even with, what made WandaVision interested is the week to week life of a witch and a regular guy living together and how they navigate that.
And
you can't have that in a film.
No, but like in like modern life, people don't have to be married to have that, right?
TV show would have been better, man.
I'm hopefully optimistic about this one. Right. So before we go and do the rest of the news, we actually completely skipped over the trailers. So let's quickly storm through some of these. Did you watch all of them
out to you?
First
yeah, Voyagers basically shows us that teenagers are evil. They should all be sedated. That's what we should be doing in society right now.
Really? It shows me that the actual elders are evil and they're basically trying to control the kids through drugs.
Is that what you got from that trailer? No. It shows that for their own good and safety, you need to sedate them and put them to sleep.
The actual film looks rubbish, but I like the concept of the fact that they are sending these kids into outer space to basically do this journey to find another planet.
Yeah, because it takes like, 80-something years? So Colin Farrell, needs to raise a crew. So who was doing the job up to that point, and where are they?
No, well, no, I think doesn't he actually start this whole process?
Yeah, but until those younger ones are older, there's all these jobs that need doing on the ship. He can't be doing it on his own. So how are they?
Right, okay. We have to watch the movie to find out.
It's a weird one. But yeah, they basically figure out from the trailer, that they're being sedated and drugged, that their emotions are being suppressed. So they stop taking it, and then they're teenagers, so they get horny, they get violent, and shit kicks off. Basically, Lord of the Flies in space.
Like Spring Break, yeah. Let's start off with Spring Break, and then it turns into Lord of the Flies, yeah.
Yeah, so could be cool.
Netflix, Stowaway. I thought it started off ropey, but by the end of the trailer, I was like, I want to watch this film.
Isn't it a coincidence that there's a problem with the oxygen, and there's 4 people on the ship, but only 3 people can be supported, so this new Stowaway has to get the fuck out.
Well, that's not a coincidence because only 3 people were supposed to go, so they've only got oxygen on the ship for 3 people.
No, but it was broken. It wasn't what was already allocated by the system. It was broken.
Yeah.
They saw the thing coming out.
3 people. You have a little bit of extra for problems.
But it just breathing shouldn't break the whatever the environmental
So,
system. Oh man, but
but
it does look good.
but I like, it does look really interesting, doesn't it? By the end of the trailer, you were like, I wasn't interested when this started, but I want to watch this film now.
I kind of liked it from the get-go. I kind of like the whole idea of this. What the fuck? Is he like the worst engineer that he just fell asleep or something and the ship took off?
That would be me. Oh yeah, that didn't even wake up when all the thrusters started going.
Basically, guys, you haven't seen the trailer. Space mission, 3 people supposed to lead the crew, and then they find out that there's like an engineer who deals with like the takeoff, all the procedures, that he's unconscious in the panel in the wall, and he wasn't supposed to be there, and he's basically stuck on his 2-year mission to I don't know. Did they actually say they're going to Mars or just going within the vicinity of Mars?
Well, it's a 2 years mission, so I don't actually know how Mars factors into that, because it's an 18-month trip there and an 18-month trip back.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
A new trailer for The Nevers got dropped, and I think it makes the show look a lot better than the first trailer.
It does. Basically, like a
I don't know. Yeah.
HBO's Irregulars. I'm gonna watch
Yeah. Like a better version, all directed by like the god Josh Whedon.
it. Half of it.
But obviously the biggest drop this week, well, depending on what you like, is it's either this one or the one after, right? Suicide Squad gets its first trailer. Suicide Squad 2, although as far as I'm concerned, they don't even put the number in here, right? They don't even want to acknowledge the existence of the first film. It was that bad.
How does that work? Because what was the last one? That was just called Suicide Squad also. So doesn't that kind of fuck up your algorithms with searching on the internet and people accidentally buying the wrong version when they're buying like DVDs down the road or Blu-rays? Like,
quite possibly. In the upper echelons where people like me are very into films, it's all around the year of the movie, right? So you put in Suicide Squad, and you've got to put in the year as well.
Look at those parents that will buy a console for their kid, and they'll buy like the last generation because they don't know the difference. They just see the word PlayStation and it's like all the same.
Maybe they'll just completely remove the original, right? Like you just won't be able to buy it anymore.
Why no subtitle? That's the weird thing. But anyway, honestly, I didn't love the trailer, but I still think it's going to be a fun film. I still see the enjoyment in it. So
do you remember your reaction to the original trailer? You were like, this is going to be like one of the best films ever made. Like you were like salivating at the thought of it.
I reckon it will be good. It was like the behind the scenes little footage thing, yeah.
Do you remember you and Salim ganged up on me saying, what's the matter with you, Mo? Why didn't you like the trailer of the original? See, I actually thought this was a really good trailer. I think this has the possibility of being a fairly decent film.
Yeah, I think it will be good. I just didn't really enjoy the trailer. I don't think it was cut particularly well. I didn't like the music, but I still think it's going to be a fun film.
Did you not like the bag of dicks joke?
Yeah, that was alright. Cena actually is a lot better in this. He actually, I'm actually impressed by Cena in this. It makes me look forward to his show. That everyone's kind of forgotten that James Gunn has written. I'm not sure he can't be directing. There's no way he's got time to direct it, or maybe he has. We have to look up that, but yeah, so that would be cool.
I completely forgot. Somebody mentioned this the other day. I've had to go and order a copy of this. That James Gunn actually directed Slither. Do you remember Slither?
Yeah, you forgot about that.
I've seen that film. It's such a good. It's such a good film. Obviously at that point I had no idea who James Gunn was, and I haven't seen the film since it first came out. So it was only when I think on the other, I was like, oh, I need to see that again because I remember really enjoying that.
Yeah, it's got dude from Firefly in it as well. That's
really Nathan Fillion.
Yeah,
and Elizabeth Banks, I think, as well, wasn't it, when she was still acting and not directing? Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, looks really good. The other big film that just dropped today, potentially, Guy Ritchie directed.
It doesn't look Guy Ritchie. It doesn't really look very Guy Ritchie-ish. It's more
doesn't look like he's.
It's typical gangster. It looks like a typical action, straight-to-video action movie.
It does indeed, but it is directed by Ritchie, so I'm very excited because I realise I do like a lot of his films. I even bought on the cheap a couple of weeks ago, you're going to laugh at this, the King Arthur movie, because I was like, I really want to see that.
I've never had the guts to sit down and watch that. I heard the story. I
want to watch it because but there are people who actually seem to enjoy this. And they're basically saying, if you're expecting to see a Guy Ritchie film set like in Arthur period,
Transformers, that think fucking Dark Side of the Moon is a masterpiece. What the fuck? That means
I've got a
nothing.
feeling I'm gonna. No, I've got a feeling I'm gonna enjoy it because I don't really mind. Because I know you get all bent out of shape, like, oh, it's Arthurian. They've got to like speak like, William Shakespeare, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
They can't be like talking like gangsters and stuff.
Well, no, as long as their accents are consistent. That's what gets me is when they have like weird
No,
accents that
but
wouldn't
that's what
exist.
makes a guy. That's what makes a Guy Ritchie movie like the Cockney accents.
But the problem is the actor from Sons of Anarchy, he's not a good actor. Charlie Dunham. Dunham. Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
not great.
Right. That's the end of the trailers. Right. Before we go into mini news, is it me who keeps freezing, or is it you who keeps freezing?
Well, you're not freezing on my side, and that's all that matters. Because I'm
Right.
recording.
Okay. Right.
So you're fine.
Cool. Right. So mini news. Let's like blast through these. So Ron Livingston, better known to us as Loudermilk, has been cast as Henry Allen in the Flash movie. So the Flash movie has been in development for so long. The original actor, seen in the Snyderverse movie, basically has got another gig and can't stay involved.
It's weird because it can't be that big a role, can it?
No, I guess it's not, because they've also announced his mum, but I can't remember who the actress is that's playing her rather. But it's just going to be so weird to see Loudermilk or the guy from Office Space playing Henry Allen. Like Loudermilk is just like the funniest, goofiest fucker like you could meet.
It really does kind of just put a full stop on the whole thing of this is just a whole new chapter now for the DC moving forward. The old stuff is just done with. That's gone.
Yeah, but I wonder how much this film will still reference the old Snyder films, right? Because it's potentially, it is almost a sequel. Like, will they just ignore everything? Will they keep stuff in? The same
reboot,
actress who's playing Iris West is still coming back.
Yeah.
Will the whole
officially
car roll, will that be canon?
But officially, she hasn't been seen up until this point because Snyder Cut isn't the official Justice League movie. It's still Whedon.
Yeah,
according to Warner Brothers.
But in the Flash film, will the car sequence, will that be canon? Is that how they first meet, or are they going to like completely change it?
That'd be interesting. That would be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because they have now met. Yeah, technically they have now met.
But they haven't spoken to each other. Literally, he just interfered with her, fiddled with her hair and shit, and just laid her on the ground and ran away. So technically, they could just recognize each other. Yeah, they just recognize each other like, and start conversation. So they could do it like that, and you can just decide that the other stuff happened or not, because it doesn't really have any reference to how they interact when they first meet.
Well, so the conversation will be like, hey, you're the guy who saved my life, and trying to put a hot dog in my mouth.
But will she know that he saved her life, though? Because first she just woke up or opened her eyes and he was there.
Because they sat there and didn't they stare at each other? Didn't they have this longing gaze at one another?
Yeah, but he was moving so fast that as far as she knows, she hit the car and then just suddenly she's on the floor looking up at him. She doesn't really know that he helped her because he's moving too fast for her to experience that.
So you're just being an apologist now for like these new suits who are trying to rewrite history. We want the Snyder cut of the Flash.
It's had its chance.
I know you're gonna love this piece of news. The Rock. He announced the release of Black Adam. It's going to be July 2022. And I read the most amazing thing about this film. He has been attached to this project since 2007, like coming on to 15 years.
Wow. They didn't announce it that long ago. No way.
It's been in one time. It was supposed to be one of the films that was going to spearhead like their DC universe.
Fuck! Thank God it didn't happen.
That long.
Thank God it didn't, because he would have been like in Henry Cavill's position in the Snyder Cut, because he would have wormed his way to be the head of the whole universe if that was the case.
So are you saying that the current DC slate is so good you wouldn't want potentially another shot at it starting earlier, like a whole alternate timeline?
No, if Rock was in it earlier, he would have just become the star of the whole thing, because that's how he works.
Yeah. He'd be the Robert Downey Jr. of the DCU.
Yeah. Black Adam, a villain, would be like the hero and like the head of Justice League. That's how he works. No thanks.
So hold on. So you don't want to give equal opportunities to villains? Is that what you're saying?
No. Our Man movie in development at Warner Brothers. Gives a fuck.
Hold on, Black Widow. You completely skipped over that now.
No, we mentioned it. We mentioned it. It's going to Disney Plus. What more there to say?
$29.99 though. It's not a freebie. You also got to pay for it.
Yeah. Like all the other shit they got there.
Like Mulan. Right. Owlman. I'd never heard of this guy, so I had to go and look up what his special power was with a name like Owlman. So he is like, he can be like, he's a really strong person. He can activate his power, but only for 1 hour. That's his gimmick. So no, it's not. He's not a time traveler. He can basically be as strong as Superman, but for 1 hour.
And then he's fucked. So I guess they could have some tense, interesting moments out of that. It could be funny.
It could be. I'm not entirely sure
that people want to see
work.
this.
Yeah. Apparently something that they've had in development for quite a while. But just imagine trying to sell this like a superhero whose power only lasts for an hour.
As someone who is
a 2 hour movie.
As someone who isn't really emotionally connected to a lot of this superhero stuff, is there any excitement in seeing like titles like this, knowing that with DC it's not really connected in any universal way? It's just like its own little.
It depends.
Films.
It depends, right? Because lots of people out there are saying we don't like this whole connected universe type of thing. But I like seeing names of heroes I've never heard of before, right? Getting the limelight now. You got it's not just your core staple Batman and Superman and Spider-Man and the Hulk. You're now seeing they're branching out.
But isn't it more fun for those characters being introduced with ones you do know, and then like how Ant-Man gets to kind of spin off and have his own?
Yes.
Isn't it better?
I guess in one side on Marvel you are getting that, and then on DC side you're getting something else.
The only people that bitch about not wanting their heroes to be connected are DC fans that don't have their heroes connected, and they're just pissed that Marvel do it so well. That's how it is.
Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure how a 1 hour superhero will work. It could be a good writing challenge.
Yeah, could be.
And lastly, I thought this was fairly interesting. Zatanna, a Zatanna movie is in the works.
Yeah.
By the promising young woman director Emerald Fennell.
She's
not. She's not a superhero I know much about. Obviously, I have seen like concept art and drawings and all that kind of stuff, but no idea what her actual story is. She's a magician.
Yep.
And as like the Falcon said, basically you're either fighting aliens, magicians, and I can't remember what the third thing was.
Yeah, I can't remember the other one, but I guess it could be cool. I don't know how long this has been in development, whether if it's relatively recent, whether Wonder kind of sparked their interest to delve into this, the magic realm that they haven't really gotten into yet.
Shall I give you the bad news on this though?
Go on.
It's a J.J. Abrams Bad Robot production.
Oh dear. But no, I'm okay with that. First film's always good with JJ. It's the sequels that are the problem.
I would imagine if this is the production company, that it's just the name, right? They're greenlighting it. JJ's probably got very little other than why want to do this, or you may want to hire this person, that kind of thing, right? Yeah. He's busy off doing Superman.
Yeah, he's a good orchestra to these sort of things. Let's get into it, man. Now that the news is done, our MCU rewatch continues for the Dark World. Mo, when was the last time you saw this?
Not last Sunday, the Sunday before.
No. Fuck's sake, man. Is this one of those ones that you hadn't seen since the cinema, or did you even not see it in the cinema?
No. I did watch this one at the cinema, and I remember actually really enjoying it at the cinema as well. And then it came as news to me that other folks didn't really enjoy this film, and then watching it again when I did, I think the flaws start to come to the forefront.
I think I felt the same way initially because I did enjoy it. Not really seeing any reviews for it at the time. This is the original cinema release. I kind of like the whole mixture of space with the fantastical realm. But watching it, the more I've watched it over the years, I think the biggest problem is the Dark Elves. Like, they're just undeveloped antagonists. Like, there's just no explanation to what they are, what their goals are. It's like, it's just so vague. And that doesn't work with Helmsworth. They just don't have no chemistry together.
Well, the thing is, I love watching Portman, right? So whether she's got chemistry or not, I do enjoy watching her in these films.
I think
she was just dealt a really shitty storyline in this. Like, she basically became like the carrier for our weapon. What a shit weapon this was, right? It basically gets trapped in a person.
Ether.
Yeah, and then like if you don't know where that person is, you can't fucking get it, right? It just rubbish. But there was some funny. It's very grey. It's very dim. It's not very engaging. I found myself playing with my phone a lot.
Yeah, you
the
enjoy
stuff
it?
with Tom Ed, the stuff with, no, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy it. It was an okay film. I thought the stuff with Tom Hiddleston was great. The fact that you see the mother die,
Yes,
and you see
grief.
like his grief, the way he's just sitting like in his cell while everyone else is just rioting. I didn't kind of get the point of his cell because he's somebody who can literally just disappear and reappear, right?
Well, I presume that because it's in Asgard, they're like enchanted cells that, you know.
But he still had magic power, right? Because he was still throwing like bolts and stuff at the furniture.
But enchanted as in it's a barrier, so you can't actually pass through.
Go through it.
Maybe.
Right.
But yeah, overall, it's generally enjoyable, but there isn't even that much to talk about with this. It is one of the weakest ones that you just can't really.
It kind of seems like it was you've got to do step 1 to be able to do step 2. So this whole thing about breaking Loki out of like jail, and the father just not being up for like the plan that Thor had, it just kind of seems that they're always at loggerheads.
Yeah, this was the movie that Patty Jenkins was originally gonna direct, but she gave this up to do Wonder Woman. So,
probably a good choice on her part.
Yeah, and I think this ended up being done by one of the Game of Thrones directors, like one of
so it's directed by a
guys.
chap called Alan Taylor, who I've never heard of.
Yeah, he's one of the many directors that do Game of Thrones. So yeah, it kind of feels like this one random episode of something. It's just
a completely forgettable film, and then you kind of think it's the next film like really elevates the Thor character.
Yeah, Ragnarok saves it. I reckon he would have left if Ragnarok wasn't what it was. He would have lost him. But I think that rejuvenated his fun and his love for the character. Thank you, Taika. Saved Thor, made him fun again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else to say about this film.
Yeah. Boo. Or nah.
I mean, I guess actually, having just finished watching WandaVision, it's quite nice to see like the some more of Darcy, right? Like from one of the films.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That was good seeing her. She's
and then obviously you never see her boyfriend again.
And what, Skarsgård? Is this the one where he goes crazy?
Yes, where he goes like naked out by Stonehenge.
Gee, the shit they get him to do. But yeah, I guess for me, like a little 2.5 star, probably the weakest Marvel movie, probably.
More weak than Captain Marvel?
I think so.
Huh?
Yeah,
I think it's definitely been my least favorite so far.
Yeah,
and I think my most least favorite up until this point was the other Thor film. All the others I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's like they really give up when it comes to Thor for these first two at least.
Which is so strange because Hemsworth is so good at the role. Like all the actors, like Tom Hiddleston, who plays the dad? Oh, I forget his name. Anthony Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
They're all just really good.
Yeah, shit the bed. But next week, what do we have?
So I'm assuming it's Captain America, right? Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Oh, this is when things turn. This is when the whole universe suddenly goes up a gear, and it's like, okay, this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah. This is, I think, this is probably one of my favorite MCU films.
Definitely. So next week we'll get into that. Hopefully, a way more enjoyable review. Won't be as somber as this one. But Mo.
Right, folks, if you want to email us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet at us, we are at Talking Movies 3. And if you want to see what the hell I'm spending my money on and what discs I've been buying, you can follow us on Instagram, Talking at the Movies.
Indeed. And don't forget Voltron Network on YouTube, guys. Show us some love, like, subscribe, all of that. So from me, Ed Reese.
I'm Mo.
See you guys next week. Bye.
See you, folks.